Before we get into today's edition of Just the Truth, let me tell you about the latest special from Michael and Dale at MyPillow. The standard MyPillow, normally $49.98 for a limited time only, just $14.88 with promo code Joey. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, and see all the specials. There's a limited quantity of just 10 at this special price. That's $14.88 with promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. President Donald Trump arrived at his Wisconsin rally in a garbage truck. He said it was in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden. We have the details of his latest, and boy, is this a doozy. A Chinese citizen has been charged after allegedly voting illegally in a key battleground state. Here's the kicker. The vote will still be counted. Details in today's show. The Attorney General of Virginia called the Supreme Court's order halting a lower court's decision to reinstate hundreds of potential non-citizens to the state's voter rolls a huge win for the rule of law. We have the latest on this as well. And details on the announcement today that President Donald J. Trump will hold a rally in Gastonia, North Carolina this weekend leading up to next week's election.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, you know, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
When President Joe Biden referred to all of us who are supporting President Donald Trump garbage, he had no idea the firestorm that he was about to ignite. Or did he? Maybe he did know the firestorm that he was about to launch. It all started when Biden said this.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. You know, he says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break. He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been.
Now, as we discussed yesterday, who says that? Other than Hillary Clinton calling us deplorable in 2016. And it didn't work out too well for her then, did it? And guess what? I don't think it's going to work out too well for Kamala either. So far, she's not called Biden out for saying this. She has not separated herself from these comments. She was asked on the tarmac as she was getting off on an airplane yesterday about her comments or her response, in which she delivered one of her word salads and never really answered whether or not she condemns Joe Biden for saying it. She said something like, well, you know, I think anyone should be able to vote for whoever they please and not be criticized. It's kind of like she doesn't really understand what Joe Biden said.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
So if Kamala isn't going to announce or denounce Joe Biden saying that, we have to believe that she agrees with him, right? In typical Trump fashion, you know, he goes to McDonald's in an apron, to an orange safety jacket worn by sanitation workers. This is classic Trump, and this is why Americans love him. He rolled up at his rally in Wisconsin yesterday in a garbage truck wearing an orange safety jacket. Did his polling just go up a few points or what? Trump was pictured in Green Bay inside a white garbage truck wearing an orange reflective vest with Trump Make America Great Again 2024 emblazoned on this big, white, beautiful garbage truck. Trump asked reporters, how do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden. Now, this was a stunt. We all know that. And it's an obvious dig at Joe Biden, who has come under fire for calling Trump supporters garbage. Even some people in the mainstream media are shaking their head, scratching their head, thinking, what was he thinking? And there's a big debate going on as to whether or not Joe Biden was thinking and did this intentionally. You know, that's my theory, is that Joe Biden knew exactly what he was about to do and set it on purpose to tank Kamala Harris, to kind of put the nail in her coffin. Because I think deep down inside, Joe Biden is an angry old man who doesn't appreciate the fact that Kamala Harris, a person that he chose to be his vice president, put her on a national stage, has now stabbed him in the back. And I don't think he likes it. And I think he has taken every opportunity to play the part of a angry old man who's suffering from dementia and gets a pass on a lot of things that he says. But I think he intentionally says some of these things. I think he has. I think he knew exactly what he was saying yesterday, and he knew the exact response that Americans would have, and that it would hurt Kamala Harris and not him. The first thing that came to mind of most people was Hillary Clinton's deplorable comments in 2016. That became a widely publicized and sort of a theme for Donald Trump. And people knew that Hillary Clinton really thought, and probably still does, that we're deplorables if we choose to support Donald Trump. Trump himself reacted to Biden's comment, saying it's a terrible comment for a president to speak. And he immediately also referred to Hillary. He said, remember Hillary? She said deplorable and then said irredeemable, right? But she said deplorable. That didn't work. Garbage, I think, is worse, Trump said. He said, I'm convinced he likes me more than he likes Kamala. I'm sure that the idea that this was intentional crossed Trump's mind as well. Don't you know that Kamala Harris would just love to choke Joe Biden right now? On Wednesday, the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, said Biden doesn't view Trump supporters as garbage. She's trying to walk it back. She says he's had multiple times that he is a president for all. It doesn't matter if it's in a red state. It doesn't matter if you live in a blue state, she said. I don't think people are buying it, though. I don't think people are buying their walk back. Vivek Ramaswamy also seized the moment and the theme. Ramaswamy was in Charlotte, North Carolina yesterday. He, too, was seen riding on the back of a garbage truck, helping a sanitation worker gather trash bags. So let's start a trend. And by the way, he was wearing the orange vest too. Let's you and I start a trend. If you haven't voted yet, swing by Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever you buy a hardware store, pick up an orange safety vest and wear it to the polls. What do you think? If I hadn't already voted yet, and I voted because you guys taught me into it. If I had not voted, though, I would show up at the polling place in an orange vest. Will you do it? Text me, email me if you do. Joey@joeyhudson.com. If you tune into the Mike Gallagher show on the Salem News Channel, you're going to see Gallagher also wearing an orange safety vest today. It was my idea, but Gallagher, he'll take credit for it. But we were talking last night after this happened, and I said, Gallagher, you need to go straight to Lowe's and buy an orange vest and wear it on your show tomorrow. And, of course, he did. He said, does Lowe's sell those? And so I looked it up on Lowe's website, text him a link, and he headed to Lowe's. So you'll see Mike Gallagher on today's show on the Salem News Channel. You can watch it on the Salem News Channel, and you'll see his orange vest. This is a time for us to make a statement. I'd love to own stock in a company that sells orange vests right now, wouldn't you? You better hurry, because I suspect that orange vests are going to be hard to find pretty soon. I suspect there's going to be a run on stores that sell orange vests because people are going to use this, I think, as a way to make a statement. And they should. They should. Look, we should all go to Gastonia on Saturday to greet President Trump and all be wearing orange vests. Just wait. As word gets around in the coming days, at every Trump rally you attend, you're going to see people wearing orange vests. And again, wear it to a poll, because what are they going to do to you? They can't say that it's a campaign thing. It doesn't have anything about Trump on it. So what are they going to do? Tell you can't come in and vote because you're wearing an orange vest? You got to do it. You got to do it. Text me and let me know. Email me, joey@joeyhudson.com. Send me some photos. That's even better. Send me some photos of you wearing your orange vest at a polling place. We'll put it up on the website. This is classic Trump, and again, it's why America loves him. Your comments are welcome on the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. This year, I really thought I was going to have to boycott the holidays. I was going to lock myself away and not come out until 2025. But after finding PhD weight loss, you can bet I'll be at every holiday party I'm invited to. That's because PhD weight loss helped me take control with great confidence, support, and my new healthy body. The best part? PhD weight loss did it all without harmful drugs that keep you dependent on them to maintain your weight loss. It's a natural, medication-free approach to weight loss crafted to naturally diminish food-related thoughts, hunger, and cravings, making your weight loss journey more sustainable and enjoyable. Take it from me, I lost 33 pounds. The PhD weight loss program teaches you not just what to eat and when, but also how to think differently about food and finally let go of those cravings and get rid of the hunger naturally. Don't lock yourself away this holiday season. Call PhD Weight Loss today at 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900, or go to myphdweightloss.com. Continuing today's show, Americans are just really tired of this. And I joked about the orange vest, and I really do think you should wear it to vote. But as evidenced in some interviews by Fox News Digital, as they were just out on the streets of New York asking people about what they think of Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage, and they asked a good cross-section of voters, male, female, black, white, Asian, and here's just a sample of what people on the street are saying about Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage.
Exactly what he was saying. And the Democrats are really well known for whenever he does his fumbling, they instantly try to do, he was this, he was... No, that's exactly how they feel about the American people, especially Trump supporters. And so there's no way that they can spin this.
Responsible, man. He's supposed to be bringing the country together, not dividing us more.
Typical of what the Democrats do right now. All they do is call names.
I felt like it was definitely out of touch, and they need to stick with the issues.
I think that it's a good response to an ex-president who insulted the good people of Puerto Rico.
Well, I think he really spoke what he believed, and so obviously it's divisive, but I know who I'm voting for, and it's not changing one way or the other based on what he has to say. So
it probably wasn't the correct thing to say at this particular time or any time. He's been in politics long enough. He should know better than that.
What do you mean the only garbage that you know? What? President Biden is losing his mind, and I don't know what else to say, but pray for him. Pray for him.
One ear out the other. It's like falling down the stairs. It's the same thing. You got to get up and walk back up, right? It's the same thing.
People gonna say what they want to say. It's up to the voters to decide who they want to pick.
I think that's the rhetoric that we should be avoiding right now, because it's not good for anybody to try to put people down. I think we as a country need to unite and come together and try to move forward and stop the name calling.
And she's right. It's time to stop the name calling. Yet Kamala Harris, even yesterday, after the the garbage comment really went viral. Kamala Harris continued her hateful rhetoric, but yet she'll in the same speech, she'll talk about how we have to be united, that it's time for Americans to come together. And in the next sentence, she'll condemn Donald Trump. How does she think Americans, when this race is so very tight, the country is split about 50-50. How does she think that she can ever bring the country together, just like Joe Biden promised 4 years ago, when you're condemning half of the country who supports Donald Trump, who believes that Donald Trump has the best interest of our country in his heart? She uses the word chaos quite often in her stump speeches because she wants you to think that Donald Trump's antics, as she describes him, creates chaos. Yet it's her very own campaign and the angry rhetoric that we hear from them, and not just her, but all of her running mate, Tim Walz, and all the Democrat surrogates, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. Everybody who's out there stumping for Kamala Harris, they have the same talking points. Latest example, President Trump supporters who attended this past Sunday's hugely successful campaign rally at Madison Square Garden. And of course, that's where the whole idea that Joe Biden thinks that we're nothing but garbage. Democrats went into full-blown damage control, of course, with White House spokesperson Andrew Bates attempting to redirect the target of Biden's insult to the rally itself. But they compared the Madison Square Garden rally to a rally that took place in 1939 that supported German Nazi leader Adolf Hitler. Trump supporters, speaking to the New York Post, talked about President Biden's barb, talking to them or calling them garbage, but also about Kamala and other Democrats comparing those in attendance to Nazi sympathizers. Remy Barron, for example, 45 years old from Queens, who was at the Madison Square Garden rally, said she went there to, quote, see the big boss, said Biden's remarks were the same old rhetoric from the Democrats. She said, we don't care about all the garbage the Democrats say about President Trump. We're going in the wrong direction, and he's the man for the situation. He called us garbage. He called Trump Hitler. I'm not garbage. I'm a 45-year-old educated, healthy black man. Another one, Dorothea Olant, 59 years old from North Carolina, said, all I can say is Biden needs Jesus. And said that she continues to pray for him. She said he needs to get a relationship with the Lord because Christians don't call people names. I'll be honest with you. I don't even take it to heart. I just ignore it and continue to pray for the man. And I heard that same comment from a number of different Trump supporters who were interviewed saying, let's pray for him. You may have noticed it in the clip that I played for you just a minute ago. One of the black men in there said, I'm just going to keep praying for him. Chris Connolly, 47 years old from Bergen County, New Jersey, said, I think it's one thing for a comedian to make a bad joke or a joke that wasn't well received, but it's another thing for someone who's not a comedian but is president of the United States to say it about half the country. Connolly tried to attend the rally with a 16-year-old son, he said, but the pair would just pass the cutoff point and didn't get into Madison Square Garden. Even so, he works for a boiler maintenance company. He said that the atmosphere, even on the streets outside of the arena, was like a rock concert. The disdain we've seen out of the White House is unparalleled. To call half the nation garbage is wrong and unacceptable, he said. We have yet to see a strong condemnation from Kamala Harris, and we're not going to. She's not going to say anything. And by the way, the White House is now trying to cover it up. Coming up next, I'm going to share with you the official transcript that the White House released, and it is trying to change what he actually said, even though the whole nation has seen it now. House Republican Conference Chair Elise Stefanik and House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, they're accusing the White House of releasing a false transcript in violation of federal law. That's coming up. Your comments are welcome on the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Firmin Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Firmin Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Firmin Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Firmin, Matthew Firmin. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Firmin Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Firmin Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Firmin Ford online at firminford.com, firminford.com. House Republican Conference Chairman Elise Stefanik and the House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer is accusing the White House of releasing a false transcript of Joe Biden's remarks in which he apparently did refer to Trump supporters as garbage. Stefanik and Comer pointed to Biden's remarks Tuesday night, saying Americans were rightfully insulted then when President Joe Biden, seeking to boost Ms. Harris's presidential campaign, referred to an enormous swath of the country as floating garbage. Stefanik and Comer said the White House, instead of apologizing or clarifying President Biden's words, sought to change them, despite them being recorded on video, by releasing a false transcript of his remarks. Now, White House Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates says that all they were trying to do was clarify them. And the president even tweeted, saying, earlier today I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. Biden posted to X. He said, his demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at that rally don't reflect who we are as a nation. All right, well, maybe that's what you meant to say, Mr. President. It's not what you actually said, and it's not what you were on video as saying.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Now, that's pretty clear, isn't it? But Joe Biden posting on X and the White House saying, well, here's what he really meant. Well, it doesn't matter what he really meant now because he said it. It's very clear what he said. And if you watch the video and what's leading up to that, it's very clear that he intended to say it. He was trying to go after Donald Trump. Of course, again, if you get back to my theory that he did it on purpose, he was trying to sink Kamala Harris's campaign. As Americans are voting across the nation, there's a lot of talk about election integrity. And you've texted me, you've emailed me, you've asked me questions, you've offered observations as you've voted these past few weeks. And they're all valid questions. I mean, for example, one question that's come up in South Carolina has been, do the machines read the scan of the ballot, both front and back? Because there were some people who were concerned as to whether or not their ballot that they cast was actually going to be counted, because they felt like that maybe it wasn't scanned to the machine properly. I talked with Chairman of the South Carolina Republican Party, Drew McKissick, And we verified earlier this week that those scanners will scan both the front and the back of the ballot. So it doesn't matter how it's inserted. It can be inserted face down or face up. It's still going to scan and it's still going to count. So that's just one thing that's come up. There's a lot of stories all around the country about things happening. For example, the ballots that were burned in Portland, Oregon. We're going to get to that in just a minute. There's a story out of the University of Michigan where a student there from China is facing charges for allegedly casting an illegal vote in Michigan. Now, this is our worst case scenario, that people from China are over here voting in our elections. Here's what happened. A 19-year-old student allegedly cast a ballot on October 27th at the University of Michigan Museum of Art polling location. He's not a U.S. citizen. State officials say he was ineligible to vote in federal elections, of course. Here's the kicker. Yes, they seem to have caught him. Yes, they're going to prosecute him. Even though his vote was cast illegally, they're still going to count it. Why? Well, once a ballot goes through the tabulator, it becomes untraceable. So there's no way of knowing which ballot was his. So there's no way to remove it later on. Now, is this an effort nationwide? Was this just an isolated incident? Or is this an effort nationwide among Chinese to vote in our elections? Michigan officials charged the student with perjury for falsely stating citizenship on the registration form, which, if officials had been doing their jobs, he would have never been on the voting roll to begin with. He would have never been able to have gotten into the polling place. He would have never been handed a ballot. And this is why it's so important for states like Virginia, who is in the middle of court battles right now. And by the way, they got a good ruling from the Supreme Court yesterday saying that they can take those people off of the rolls that they know are not U.S. citizens. We'll get to that in just a minute. Former U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy explained that incidents like the one in Michigan is important, and that we get it right, that we stop this before it happens, because as he confirmed, the ballot will be counted. So this Chinese man knew exactly what he was doing. He wanted to vote in our elections, and he did successfully. Michigan's Attorney General Dana Nessel has launched an independent investigation showing that Michigan is committed to taking voting security seriously, she said. But it's too late. It's too late. This young man voted. Now, I hope they give him whatever the maximum penalty is. But this just reinforces that illegal voting has to be taken seriously. And they should never get into the polling place, and they should never be handed a ballot. And that's why the U.S. Supreme Court, what they did yesterday, is so important. Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares is calling it a huge win for the rule of law in this high-stakes voter roll case that's gone all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court gave him a victory. The justices have temporarily blocked a lower court's order that would have added 1,600 people, non-citizens, back onto Virginia's voter rolls. The Attorney General says that Virginia upholds its laws, and that these laws are to prevent non-citizens from being on its voting list. Now, the argument that the Biden DOJ had was, well, it's too late. It's too late in the process. It's too close to the election day, so we can't be taking people off of voter rolls. Well, of course you can, if you know for a fact that they're not citizens. You take them off immediately. I don't care if it's the day of the election. This case took off when Biden's DOJ argued that Virginia was improperly removing people from voter rolls, again, too close to the election. violating a 90-day quiet period rule in the National Voter Registration Act. And I get that. There are certain things that should not take place within a certain period of time. And 90 days sounds reasonable to me. But again, if somebody is on our voter registration rolls illegally, they shouldn't be on there. There shouldn't be any quiet time. There shouldn't be any period of time that they can't be removed. They should be able to be removed immediately upon learning the truth. Virginia, led by Governor Glenn Youngkin and their Attorney General, maintains that their voter cleanup process is fully legal and individualized. The removal process, which started back in August, compares registered voters with DMV records of individuals who've identified themselves as non-citizens. I mean, they're the ones who check the box. It's not like they're going through and trying to find people. They're looking at the applications that these individuals said themselves, I am not a citizen. I should not be allowed to vote. And Virginia, they have allowed them 14 days to come in and prove that they're citizens and be able to keep their registration. That's fair too. The burden of proof should be on them. If they check the box that they're a non-citizen, then they should prove to the state of Virginia that was checked inadvertently and show Virginia, hey, here's my citizenship. Here's proof of my citizenship. So this all came about, and it landed in front of the U.S. Supreme Court after a U.S. judge sided with the Department of Justice and ordered reinstatement of those names that Virginia had removed. Now, who in their right mind, what kind of judge orders names of non-citizens to be put back on the voter registration roll because of some 90-day quiet period? Who does that? A judge who is sworn to defend the Constitution of our great country? So what's next? The Supreme Court's temporary block is going to take us through the election. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals will hear Virginia's full appeal. The Department of Justice will probably continue to pursue it because they insist that the case is about protecting every eligible American's right to vote, and they disagree with the Supreme Court's order. They should be concerned about protecting all Americans, that our vote and the integrity of our elections are the most important thing. And where there is any question, if there's doubt, then let that person prove that they're really a citizen. That's what the DOJ should be concerned about. Your comments are welcome on the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Whether you're replacing a broken appliance or maybe you're just upgrading, you're totally remodeling the kitchen, when it's time to get those new appliances, when you're ready for them, you don't want to have to wait weeks or even months to get started using them, right? Well, that's not the case when you shop with my friends at Discounted Appliance Warehouse. With over 11,000 square feet and 1,500 appliances at any given time, you can buy today and use today quite often. I'm talking about shopping with my friends at Discounted Appliance Warehouse in Pickens. It's worth the short drive over to Pickens. Jeff, Johnny, Kyle, the whole team over there, they'll take good care of you. They have an award-winning service department, expert installation, extended warranties, and at Discounted Appliance Warehouse, they treat you like family. You're more than just a credit card swipe to all the team over there. Discounted Appliance Warehouse, they're proud to offer Speed Queen, the only washer and dryers with manufacturer's warranties that cover parts and labor. You owe it to yourself, if you're looking for a new appliance, to head over to Pickens to Discounted Appliance Warehouse online at dawpickens.com, dawpickens.com. On the text line, a lot of text messages. I'll get through as many as I can here today. Texter, this is Tony, says, Joey, I heard Charlie Kirk say something that's really puzzling. He said early voting is good, but it also lets Democrats know how many ballots they need to harvest by Election Day to get their candidates across the finish line. Well, I've heard that argument too. One of the reasons that the Trump campaign and the Republican National Committee wants you to vote early is so they can also know that you voted and they can move resources to turning out the vote elsewhere. They won't keep calling you or texting you or emailing you, encouraging you to vote if they know you've already voted. The downside to that is the Democrats have the same access to those voter lists as Republicans do. So we just have to trust that our RNC and that other organizations, the Trump organization, that they do the right thing with that. And I feel okay with that. I'm good with that. Because here's the reality, I think. Democrats, when you vote, although in most cases you never tell people exactly how you voted, and you certainly, there's nothing indicating on your voter registration of how you voted. But still, there's all kind of ways for people to get a general idea of which way you lean, because they cross-reference the voter registration list with when you vote in a presidential primary, for example. So if you voted in the Republican presidential primary earlier in the year, Democrats know that because some of their data gurus have gone through and they cross-reference that, so they have a pretty good idea of how you're going to vote. So they're going to know that regardless. So I don't think they're going to spend any time on you if they know that you likely voted Republican anyway. Texter, this is Sherry from Georgia, says, this is a random, but when I see Kamala on the news, a question comes to mind every time. Does she and Hillary have the same stylist? Or do they shop together? Because their clothes are not flattering at all. Their suits look identical, and to have so much money and not pull together more flattering outfits is just beyond me. Just throwing that out there. Enjoy your day. Well, thank you, Sherry. But here's the thing. You're right. I've noticed that too. They kind of wear those pantsuit type outfits. There's nothing cheap about the clothes that either one of them wear. Those outfits cost thousands of dollars. You could probably buy your whole wardrobe for what they pay for one outfit. But yet, they still don't look that great, do they? Texter, hello, Joey. I still like to listen to you daily. Well, thank you. I appreciate you listening. I voted for Donald Trump on Monday. May God be pleased to help him win. Keep up the good work and God bless. And you know what? We need to keep praying. I talked to Nana Hudson yesterday, reminded her that maybe she wants to go early vote. She's kind of like me. She likes to vote on Election Day, but I think she's going to vote early too. But she said, I'm really worried that woman's going to win. She said, I've been praying every day. And I thought about that. And that's what we have to do, isn't it? We have to pray too. We have to pray that God's will be done and that we make the right choice for our country. Texter, it does seem that as if Biden is trying to sabotage Kamala by making or calling us garbage. And it seems as if she's sabotaging herself, conceding North Carolina to Trump and then ending her campaign with an unhinged rant a week before the election, while Trump's going to hold multiple campaign events up until midnight on Election Day. Well, I think she's still going to do some rallies. I don't think her speech on the ellipse meant that her campaign is ending there. I think what it meant was that's her last major address. She'll still travel to states and do small events, I think. Texter, most Democrats think Republicans are garbage. They do not like conservative values and the idea that hard work actually works. You're right. Marcia says Donald Trump's garbage pays lots and lots of taxes. Yeah, you're right. We all pay taxes, don't we? Ace writes, Joey, don't overestimate Joe. I've learned in my 60-plus years that toddlers, drunks, and very old people have no filter. They speak without thinking. Kamala probably cackled when he said it. Hate is blind and gives little thought to reason. All true Republicans should say a prayer before they vote. Expect a victory. Have a wonderful day. Joey, see, there's that word again, prayer. You see what I'm saying? You never hear prayer come up in the conversation among Democrats. You don't hear Democrats saying, well, I'm praying for the election. But you hear Republicans mention prayer all the time. You heard it in some of the clips that I played earlier. If you missed the early part of the show where I played some of the clips from, I think it was the New York Post interviewing people. No, it was Fox News interviewing people on the street. A number of people mentioned, well, we need to pray for him. And you hear that a lot from Republicans because we are people of faith and we believe in prayer. Texter, this is Fred, says, talk about dangerous rhetoric. Kamala, in her closing speech, refers to Donald Trump as a tyrant. It's not a slip of the tongue. She knows well the words uttered by John Wilkes Booth, semper tyrannis, death to tyrants. They are doing everything they can to divide and cause chaos while they utter words of unity, joy, and inclusion. Faye writes, Joey, my take is anyone who votes to continue killing our babies and who turns their back on Israel is garbage. This covers all walks of life, all races, and all political parties. The good Lord surely must be viewing our country in the same manner as he did the world before the flood. Any preacher who doesn't come to the defense of Trump is not a man of God. Your comments are welcome as well. You can text me. You can email me, joey@joeyhudson.com. And I love your messages as well. Call me on the MyPillow message line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Leave me a quick voice message, and please know that I may share them here on the show from time to time. And while we're talking about MyPillow, be sure and take advantage of Mike Lindell's latest great MyPillow specials. You can get the standard MyPillow, which is normally $49.98, for just $14.98 when you use promo code Joey. Now, you can only order 10 of these, but go ahead and order 10 and give them out as Christmas gifts. Order now using promo code Joey. You can call to 800-893-4059 or go to MyPillow.com. We all know MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has also just announced that they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee through Christmas. So orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March the 1st of 2025. So what do you have to lose? Order it. If for some reason it doesn't work for you, send it back. You get a full refund. MyPillow.com or call 800-893-4059. Use promo code Joey. That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.